Oh, hi there, and welcome back to Minecraft. We're here on Geeky's Island, and as you can see, there's a weird-looking villager right behind me. Right, let's begin. We've got quite a lot to cover in this video, so bear with me while I go through it all, and hopefully I don't go a bit too quick. But you can see over here on my left we've got a new area that's being sort of mapped out ready for building. I'm not going to go too much detail into it because you'll see it sort of later on once we've actually done some stuff. But that's there, and it's going to expanding the town quite a lot. As far as the town itself, Dross has been very busy working on lots and lots of different buildings. If we just have a quick look in this one, for example, this one in particular I want to talk to you about because you can see it's hollow. There's nothing inside it. It's space for 3 floors, but there's nothing there. And then there's a hall through to the next building, which is the same, 3 floors and nothing, and the same through to this one. And the reason for that is we're planning to do a bit of a mini game in here. Essentially, it's going to be some sort of maze that you come in from one door, you need to navigate your way through, and then eventually get yourself to the final place, which will be sort of, I don't know, it might be the opposite side of the buildings, it might be right next to where you start, but take the long way round. Not sure exactly. Once that's done, we'll then come along and obviously fill in the interiors at that point. So I will probably look at that in a later video, but for the time being, let's move on. And say, Dross has been doing loads and loads of work. I would highly recommend coming in and checking everything out, because when there's so much to explore, there's so much hidden things, etc. It's definitely worth checking out when you come to download the map. Over here, you can see there's this new building which we were standing in front of before, and this is being built by Emmerich. It's not finished yet, so we're not going to go into great detail, but it's going to be sort of the big dwarven keep castle type thing. Is going to lead into another mini game, which we'll come to later on. Speaking of mini games, I did mention at the last video that we were talking about doing like a rooftop run, which is basically you're going to have to run around, obviously, from one rooftop to another and find the exit point. A lot of people have said they like the idea of it, so I've gone ahead and I've done it. And when I say done it, I've just put an exit endpoint, which is this here. So you'll have to find your way over here, and then once you step on that, you get teleported down, same building, you just teleport to the ground, and then you get your gold ingot. And then you can just obviously go back and redo it, and you can do it as many times as you want and get loads and loads of gold. But let's move on to the actual purpose of this video, and that is I want to do a mini game over in this area here. So this is obviously the farmland that Dross was working on a couple of videos ago now, but we were thinking that what we could do is actually do something more like a treasure hunt type thing. So you'd come in, you'd flick a switch or hit a button or something, and it would lock you in. There'll be various things appear ready for you to find with a time limit, and then you've got to say find them all before the time runs out. So that's what we're going to try and do today. Just need to try and work out the logistics of how it's going to work. But I think the first thing we need to do is try and work out just a way to start the game. So let's have a look. Okay, so the very, very basics are in place. You can see here there's 1, 2, and 3 entrances into this farmland area. So what we need to do is make sure that once you start the game, that's close these off so that you're just trapped in here and you can't carry on. So I've gone over here and I've placed this button. Well, to be fair, I tested it. I didn't even know that you can actually put a button through a barrel, but apparently you can. So you do that, and then there's a couple of command blocks that basically fill blocks with cobblestone walls. So if we just click that, you can see that's filled, and then this one over here is also filled. So that basically blocks the person in the game in here. And if you see multiple people on the map at the time, or on the server, if it becomes that way, it just means that you are playing by yourself. Or if you want to get teams, you can obviously bring your mates in with you. But now we need to try and work out what we're going to put in and where we're going to put the goodies that need to collect. So the next stage, we've had to go ahead and add a lot more command blocks. So you can see we've got a whole bunch going down there. And what these basically do, well, one of them, first of all, fills this block here with air, thus removing that button so that people can't cheat and just keep pressing it to make all new items. I've then gone and put a whole bunch more, 13 I believe it was, which basically clones chests to various places around here. And those chests are, jump down here, clones of this particular chest. So in here we've got an item which is a Manky Spud. I'll explain that a bit more in a moment. But what should happen is if we click that button, that button disappears, the walls all fill in as before, and now we've got chests. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and a whole bunch all over the place. So that then fills them all up, and obviously these will contain the Manky Spud. So that's that part, but obviously that isn't really a game, because all it does is give people free stuff. We need to actually make it more interesting, so I need to add some sort of timer in here somehow. Okay, so after some time, I've managed to make a system that I think works. Time-wise, it seems to do the job. Basically, what it does is, obviously, all the items are thrown out as you saw before, but then there's a separate... well, let me come down and show you. Basically, we have some more commands that basically fills in a few blocks here. There's an empty chest, which then gets cloned and put into there. There's an empty hopper, which gets cloned there, and there's another hopper with these items in that gets cloned above here. I'll show you it working in a second. But basically what it does is it needs all these items to cycle through the system. So there's 80 different items there. So 5 times 16 is 80. Once they all go through, it sends a signal through here, which obviously goes to all of the command blocks, and then removes all of the unnecessary items that we don't want or that people haven't had time to collect. So I can show you an example. So if I was to click that, so obviously there's no chest there's no chest there, for example, no chest over here. Do that, and that then comes there. We've got time to grab the potatoes. Hopefully we can get enough. If not, then, well, it won't work. So you might have to try and find the quickest route or work in a team to do it. Just grab as many of those as possible. It doesn't help if you're not clicking properly. You are against the clock, so they will actually vanish as soon as the time runs out. Run. Come on, one more. 8. Okay, and they've just vanished. So I managed to get 8 of the 13. So I wasn't quite quick enough to do it. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure if it is possible with one person. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a team thing. But I'm sure if you were quick, a lot quicker than I am, and you knew the routes, you'd be able to get that done quite quickly. So let me just show you how this works. So if we jump down here, if I turn that on, obviously there's nothing there. That's just put them all there. So all these eggs are now cycling through into here. They'll fill up because obviously it's locked, and then as soon as they go in there, it then shuts it off. But that works. Yeah, I think so. The only thing that doesn't happen once it's finished is I don't put the button back there, and these doors aren't opened again, because as far as I'm concerned, that's not the end of the game. This is just to see how many things you can get within a time period, and you obviously need to now get some sort of reward. So that's what we'll work on now. And I think I've got a way to do it using pretty much the same principle as we did to well, let me jump down. Same principle as we did with the hoppers, etc. there. I've set up another one just over here, which basically comes through. So we've got 58 Manky Spuds in there, so you have to use the full 13. If you haven't got the full 13, it's not going to work, and it will reset itself as well. So if we just fill that in, we can test it out. So we have to come around here, and you can see we've got the hopper there, but there's the glass there. So obviously, if you're in adventure mode, you can't break that, you can't get it, so you can't get through to it. And you've got the hopper here. Now, we should work that if I give it all 12 of these, it doesn't do anything. Good. So turns out maths isn't my strong point. 51 in there, not 58. And if we cover that up, not with that, it looks better. Take 1 away from my 13 to give me 12. And I'll throw my 12 on there. Please don't embarrass me again. All fall in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing's happening. Give it a second. Give it another second. Nothing's happening. And we'll throw the 13th one in. Perfect. Okay, so that works. So you need the full 13. Let's say it may not be possible to do it one person. I really do think it is. You just need to practice it a few times and just get the route. Otherwise, it's a multiplayer type game. So sort of get your mate and do it together. So that's that. So obviously you get your 13, you put them in, and you get your 2 gold back, which I think is a good prize. I mean, let me know if you think it should change. The only thing left now is we need to lock these doors, or unlock these doors, and that's not supposed to like that. That's because I keep laying them on top of each other. So I need to open these up and then reset the button. So that's all that's left. So I need to find somewhere that hasn't got loads of stuff underneath it to build that. And that should be it. We just added a button here. Basically, there's just some command blocks under there, which takes these walls away and replaces the button here. So if we just test the whole thing, we can press that, not that, press that, jump up to fly, the button's vanished, all the chests are there. We've got so many seconds, I haven't timed it yet, to be honest. I'm sure one of you will probably tell me in the comments how long it is, but it's that many seconds. Then they vanish once it's finished. They vanish, come on. Don't make a fool of me. They vanish. That one vanishes now. That actually lasts quite a long time. There we go. They vanish. So yeah, they vanish. There's loads of time there. I think you can get that easy, no problem. And then obviously that's left it so that these doors are locked. You can't play again at this point because the buttons vanished, so you have to make do however many you had, whether it's 3, 6, whatever. If you want to, you can obviously click that and open the doors, and that will open this so you can play again, or you can go straight in with the 13 of these. So let's just break that down to 13. 1, 2, 3. Fire that in, and that should pop out 2 bits of gold in a second. Please? Did I do it right? I might have to fix that. There we go, 2 bits of gold. I don't know what happened there. So, anyway, that worked. The door's locked still, so you can obviously open the door with this. That does that, and go there. If for some reason you haven't got all 13 and you wanted to carry on playing, you can just press that button and then go again, and you just start collecting more. So, I'm not actually sure what's going on with this. 51 in there. Fine. That should work then. 1, 2, 3, and 13. Maybe it was a glitch. Yeah, okay, that was a glitch. That's fine. Because you saw I didn't change anything. I must have just messed around with it. So that's that. That really works. So we have a full working game. They haven't vanished yet, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Oh, they've gone. There we go. That wasn't to do with that button, by the way. That's just pure coincidence. So that is that. You can notice as well I put a lectern here. So I do plan to put a book there, sort of giving people an idea of actually like a bit of background story of what's going on, and explain what to do with the instructions of what buttons do what, etc. But here's some way that you guys can get involved. If you fancy helping out, I need a backstory. I need some sort of name for this game and a backstory, so a bit of lore to go with it. So head on down to the comment section. Tell me what you think we should have. Obviously they're Manky Spuds, so it could be something like the farmer's struggling. He's got too many manky potatoes and he needs you to help collect them. If you bring them to him at his place, we should have moved that there, shouldn't we? Never mind. Might move him. If you get him to him in a certain time, he will then reward you. Something like that. If you can think of something like that better or whatever, let me know and I will shout out the person with the most interesting one, and they will be in the book and immortalised forever on the map. So yeah, feel free to jump in and help me out with that one. But I think, unfortunately, we have run out of time in this video. So if you enjoyed this and you want to see more, hit the big like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And obviously tell your friends about it too, because if you like it, there's a good chance they will too. But as always, I've been Ski Gamer, you've been awesome, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.